Today, we're diving deep into the 9 months of pregnancy, but we're not just looking at a timeline. We're looking at a masterpiece of biological engineering. We're going to unpack the incredible hidden systems that build and sustain a new life, from the very first moments all the way to the final push. So let's get into it. So, what's really going on behind the scenes? It's easy to think of pregnancy as something that just happens. But in reality, it's this series of incredibly complex, perfectly timed biological puzzles that all have to be solved, one after another, for everything to work out. So, how in the world does the body pull it off? Well, our first puzzle is a huge one: just surviving. In those first few weeks, a pregnancy is unbelievably fragile. See, the body has to have a constant supply of a hormone called progesterone to keep everything going. The problem? The permanent support system, the placenta, it's not even built yet. So, who's in charge? The body has this brilliant two-part solution. You can think of it like a temporary caretaker that's followed by a permanent powerhouse. To start, this little structure called the corpus luteum handles the job. It's a small, temporary source of progesterone that keeps everything stable, but it's not built to last. That's where the placenta comes in. It's the permanent factory, built over time to completely take over the job for the long haul. And this hormonal handover, it happens on a super precise timeline. For the first 8 weeks or so, the corpus luteum is doing all the heavy lifting. Then, right around weeks 8 to 10, the placenta starts to come online, slowly ramping up its own progesterone production. By week 12, the handover is done. The placenta is fully in charge. The seamless transition is absolutely critical. Seriously, if it fails, progesterone levels would drop and the pregnancy just couldn't continue. That's why this moment is such a massive milestone. Okay, so with that hormonal foundation secured, the body gets to work building the unbelievable physical infrastructure needed to protect and nourish the growing fetus. And this isn't just some simple connection. It's a sophisticated, self-regulating life support system. The first piece of this is the umbilical cord, the literal lifeline. But here's a question for you. With all the kicking and moving around inside the womb, how do the vital blood vessels inside that cord not get totally squashed or tied in a knot, cutting off the supply? The answer is this amazing stuff called Wharton's jelly. It's this gelatinous substance that acts like a perfect protective cushion. You can think of it as the umbilical cord's own personal bodyguard. This jelly makes sure that no matter how much the fetus twists, turns, and tumbles, those two arteries and one vein inside the cord stay wide open. It guarantees a constant, uninterrupted flow of oxygen and nutrients. Pretty clever, right? All right, another huge piece of this life support system is the amniotic fluid. It's the cushion, the shock absorber, the temperature regulator, the whole shebang. But as the pregnancy goes on and there's more and more of it, have you ever wondered where it all comes from? The source is kind of wild. Believe it or not, it's this incredible, self-sustaining cycle. Once we hit the second trimester, the fetus itself becomes the main factory for amniotic fluid through, get this, urination. But it doesn't just stop there. The fetus then recycles this very same fluid by swallowing it. This creates a perfectly balanced and completely self-managed environment. It's a truly elegant and mind-bogglingly efficient system. Okay, so life support's in place. Now we need to talk about fuel. Lots of it. A fetus is growing at an absolutely exponential rate, and that requires a massive and constant supply of energy. The number one most critical fuel is glucose. So how does the body make sure this vital resource gets delivered fast and efficiently? Well, the body doesn't mess around. It uses an express lane. While other nutrients might need slower, more energy-intensive methods to get across the placenta, glucose gets special treatment. It uses a process called facilitated diffusion. Think of it like a VIP bridge, with special protein channels that are just for glucose, letting huge amounts of it flow across quickly and effortlessly, with no energy spent. This high-speed delivery ensures the fetus gets that constant, massive supply of fuel it needs to grow. So we've built the foundation, we've set up the life support, and we've opened the fuel line. But after 9 long months, how does it all end? What's the signal that says, okay, it's time? The trigger for birth is one of the most fascinating parts of this entire story, and it might not come from where you'd expect. Yep, you heard that right. For a long, long time, the focus was all on the mother's body initiating everything. But a lot of evidence now points to the fetus playing a decisive role. It seems that the baby actually helps decide its own birthday by sending a very specific chemical signal when it's ready to come out. And this whole thing works like a beautiful chain reaction, a domino effect. It's not one direct switch, but this elegant cascade. First, the fetus releases a surge of the stress hormone, cortisol. That's the signal. This signal travels to the placenta and tells it to ramp up production of another set of compounds called prostaglandins. And these prostaglandins, they're the real workhorses. They get the cervix ready for birth and kickstart the uterine contractions. It all starts with a fetal signal that initiates the grand finale. So when you just step back for a second and look at the whole 9-month process, it's impossible not to just be in awe, right? It's not a series of disconnected, random events. It's a perfectly coordinated biological masterpiece, with every system coming online exactly when it's needed. It truly is a symphony. You have the critical hormonal handover that makes sure everything's stable in the first trimester. You have the clever bodyguard jelly protecting that vital lifeline. You have a fetus that literally creates and manages its own perfect little world. You have a high-speed fuel line powering incredible growth. And finally, the baby itself sends the signal to begin its journey into the world. Every single step is an intricate dance of biology, timed to absolute perfection. It's just a powerful reminder of the elegant and incredibly complex solutions that nature has engineered all around us. And it really leaves you wondering, what other incredible biological puzzles are just waiting out there for us to uncover next?